One Nation going to support these changes to the Liquor Control Act. However, there are some concerns surrounding the changes, specifically changes to public holiday restrictions and the banned drinking register. I find it sad that some of our traditional holidays are changing. It's always been part of our life here that Easter and Christmas were considered special. I note that some people view those dates as not being special anymore, but they should be. We need to maintain some traditions and norms to have a cohesive society, culture. I accept that our modern society is different to what it once was. There's a lot more depression and loneliness these days, so I can accept that some people would prefer to go to the pub than to sit at home alone on what they still consider to be a special day. I think as a society it's a good thing to have special days that we all share, and I think Easter and Christmas can deliver exactly that to people of all backgrounds. Most cultures have a celebration of life and family. It's something that unites us, and celebrating it on the same day unites us even more, as it reminds us that at the end of the day we're all the same. I think the invention of Easter Saturday is also not right. For many West Australians, Easter is a serious spiritual occasion, and the state encroaching on that by inserting itself with a made-up holiday seems like an unnecessary provocation. I'll move on to the banned drinking register and note that sadly there's nothing in the legislation that would ensure that problem drinkers are given the support they need. When the BDR was introduced, it was seen as a temporary measure to address the most serious cases of problem drinkers. Wraparound services were promised but never delivered. Putting people on the banned drinkers register is getting people to go cold turkey. Going cold turkey can be very dangerous for people with an addiction from a health point of view. Alcohol withdrawal can be very confronting. Sadly, the places where the BDR is most applied are the same places where the government support services are least available. The real tragedy is the majority of people who are placed on the BDR are Indigenous West Australians outside of Perth. This, of course, reflects the fact that there are significant societal issues in some of those communities, which were the result of past government's policies. Substance abuse is a symptom of a broken community. It's what people do to self-medicate to escape their reality. Of course, this is a vicious cycle. The more they self-medicate, the worse their reality becomes. We need to help communities by giving them the support to address root causes and break the cycle of decay. In short, it's in the interests of the Indigenous communities to intervene. But there is a view on the woke side of politics that intervention in Indigenous communities is racist or will create another stolen generation. It's another example of deficient woke thinking. Some people would rather a child be put in danger of violence than possibly be accused of racism. One Nation believes in treating all Australians equally. Any policy or practice that results in one race being treated differently from another race from other races because of their race is, by the correct definition, racist. Many Indigenous communities are calling for intervention, calling for dry communities and more help from the government to break the destructive cycles. But then activists in the city block any efforts that make real change based on warped ideology. By including a legislative requirement...
Member.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm just going to remind members about Standing Order 36 about reading of speeches. Unless you've been given permission by the presiding officer, which refers to your last speech, you should not be reading your speech. You are quite obviously doing that, member. And if you want to continue doing that, then I'll be seeking another point of order where I ask that you table your papers that you're reading from.
As pointed out, according to the Standing Order 36, it is not appropriate to read the speech. Honourable Member Rod Caddies.
Okay, by including a legislative requirement to provide wraparound services to support the BDR, where we could actually make some real changes. I'm referring to notes the same as every Labor member does.
Member, you were reading. You were very clearly reading before.
I wasn't reading. I'm referring to notes I've got here. And if this is how, if this is, I'm getting pulled up now. I've watched actually members
Order,
read
Honourable
directly.
Member. Order. You can continue, but please keep in mind, Standing Order 36, you cannot read the speech. Thank you.
Okay, where was I? Without these wraparound services, there's a danger of a person who has been placed on these BDRs in terms of their survival. There's risks of violence also heightened when there's no further options to rehabilitate the people. And placing people on the BDR often results in them seeking alternative ways of self-medicating, which is often incredibly dangerous, such as fuel sniffing, distilling their own alcohol from dangerous chemicals, which we know can cause real harm. Now, this is the main reason I support this bill, is because of sorry, I'm a little bit unfocused now. Yes. Yeah, it's only a short. To finish anyway, I'll quickly address the digital ID provisions in this bill. Despite the concept of government issues digital IDs being highly problematic, the use of digital forms of identification are already widespread and preferred by some people. Indeed, official public opinion in China is also highly supportive of their digital ID-based social credit score system. But in the case of this bill, it just allows people to show a form of digital ID to get a drink. It doesn't require them to do so. They can still use a physical form of ID. Maybe it would not, it wouldn't hurt to enshrine the rights of people to use non-digital IDs into the future, so that we make sure that they won't be locked into that. Another matter needs to be addressed further is the cost of compliance for small family businesses and what government can do to reduce that burden on them, especially in relation to the BDR. So in summary, One Nation will support the bill. Yeah, I'll finish it there. Thank you.
Yeah.